Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome to Daily Reflections with Chris. My name's Chris. And for those of you who are new to my channel, what I do here is I read out of this book called The Daily Reflections. And then I share on it my experience, strength, and hope. So hopefully you can get something out of it. And if you don't, and know somebody who might, then I pray that you will share this with them, okay? So today is August the 8th, and the title for today's entry is called Made a List. Made a list of all persons we had harmed. That's out of the 12 and 12, page 77. When I approached the 8th step, I wondered how I could list all the things that I have done to other people, since there were so many people, and some of them weren't alive anymore. Some of the hurts I inflicted weren't bad, but they really bothered me. The main thing to see in this step was to become willing to do whatever I had to do to make these amends to the best of my ability at that particular time. Where there's a will, there's a way. So if I want to feel better, I need to unload the guilt feelings I have. A peaceful mind has no room for feelings of guilt. With the help of my higher power, if I am honest with myself, I can cleanse my mind of those feelings. I guess what comes to my mind is this thought or this idea of being a vessel, right? To be a vessel to be of service, to help others, to have a better lifestyle, a better way of living, to help others accomplish that what they want, right? Because I'm doing what I want and what I'm accomplishing, but I can also help now others to do the same thing too. And I deal mostly with people, or I hang out with mostly people who are also in recovery with me, but I believe also too that other people could really get some use out of having some type of recovery in their life, from hurts, hang-ups, and old habits, just things that just not working out for them, right? Who aren't addicted to anything, right? Who just need a better way of living, who don't necessarily need, drink like I do, or do drugs like I do, or depend on mood altering substances like I do, right? So just people in general who just need just help, right? So I'm thinking about making that list. I'm thinking about doing whatever it takes to make it right. And then I'm thinking about getting free of that guilt, right? Getting free of all those I wouldn't need a mind altering substance if I didn't have so much things in my mind, right? So how do I do that? Well, this book has taught me so far, these steps, this program of recovery, what it's taught me so far is to write things down, right? So I've been making the list as part of writing those things down. Is it gonna get long? Yes. Is it gonna feel impossible? Yes. But that's why we need each other. That's why we need the help of people who have done it before us, right? So that they could help us. And folks, yes, it's going to seem long. Yes, it's going to seem impossible. But if I could give you any word of advice or any suggestion, it's like, don't trip. That's the suggestion. Don't trip. Okay? It's going to get done little by little. That's how we do it here. We can't do it all at once, but we can do it little by little. So making the list is just the beginning of it, right? So making the list, if you could imagine, okay, let's go extreme. If you can imagine a hoarder's house, right? And if you've seen any type of hoarder show, or if you know a hoarder, right? Then you're somewhat aware that to take one little piece out of their house, how unimportant it seems, how crazy it may seem, to just remove it from their house is painful to them, right? I've seen shows where like they'll even cry, like it hurts them for people to remove things from their house. It could be like 150 cats. To take one away is hard because they've named that cat. It might look like the other cat, but they're very specific. They know what that cat's name is. They know their character. And to take them away to hurt, even though that cat might be dying or malnutrition, right? Or living in their own crap. That's the same thing if you were to take a toaster out of there, or some old magazines, or a pack of pencils. You know, whatever it is that you're removing from them hurts them. Well, the same thing with us, folks. If you try to, it seems crazy that it's painful, but if it wasn't painful, then why is it so hard to write things down, right? To get things out of here and onto paper. These people we have hurt out of here and into paper and get rid of that guilt. I mean, looking from the outside in, you would think like, dude, why haven't you done this already, right? But looking from the inside out is like, I don't need to do that. I'm okay. I'm okay. I've made it so far with this guilt. I've made it so far without making amends. I've made it so far. Folks, there's a difference between surviving and living, right? And before I came into the program of recovery, I was just surviving. I wasn't living because of all the guilt I had, because of all that remorse, because of all the pain I had caused myself and others, because of this, this disappointment that I felt with myself. All that stuff, it was keep holding me hostage. So how do we release all that? Well, we write it down. That's where we start, right? I remember this. I don't know if y'all have heard of him. It's called Zig Ziglar. He makes like motivational videos, right? And he actually gets hired to go to big corporations, like Kohl's and other places, to go motivate their workers, right? To bring about a type of culture that the corporation wants. They bring in Zig Ziglar to speak on that, right? So one of the things that he said on one of his videos, and I could only get a short video because if you ever YouTube him, his stuff ain't free. You got to pay for that stuff, right? So I YouTubed him and I got a video, and he said in the video, he says, the number one reason that the people that he deals with don't succeed or don't follow his journey or can't get anything out of what he does, the number one reason why is because they can't make a list. Because that's the first thing he tells them. Make a list. Make a list of your fears. Make a list of your dreams. Make a list of your goals. Make a list. Not even if he's told them make a list of positive things about you. The number one thing that he says that people cannot do, even if it's going to help them, is make a list. So I get it why step 8 can seem so hard. And step 8 is just about making the list. And if you're willing, then that list should come easy. But if you're not willing, then I get it. It's going to take you forever to make the list. As a matter of fact, you'll probably get that list and you'll put like 2 people on there. I remember I had a sponsee one time, and it happens often, folks, but just for me, I don't have very many that I work with, but, the few that I have, they come up to me with a list of like 5 people. I'm like, whoa, you only have 5 people that you feel that you need to make amends to. And they said, well, I put my mom and dad together. No. I said, what? I said, no, your mom and dad are 2 different people. Yes, they're married. Yes, they have a lot of things, but you can't put them together. You got to put mom. You got to put dad. And you can't put all your brothers and sisters as one. Each person is individual, and your amends has to be tailored to them. But we're not there yet. But first, we got to get right here. I mean, if we can't do step 8, we can't even make a list. And how can we go to step 9? Right? And that's what Zig Ziglar was saying. If you can't make a list of your goals, then how can we work towards them? If you can't make a list of your fears, then how can we work on them? There's some power to making a list, and that's where we start to become clear. We start to become free. We start to declutter, right? We start to pull the kitties out of the house one by one, right? And when we start to declutter our minds, and we're able to see things more clearly, we're able to help others. We're able to see that, man, we're not bad people. We just did bad things. Yeah, maybe under the influence of alcohol, but because of who we are, or because of who I am, it's important for me to know just little tidbits like this. And I'll share one more thing, and I really want to keep it short, but man, I came from a really good meeting right now, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm on fire. Like, I just want to share more, right? So anyway, so I went to this public information event that we had, or that somebody had, and I got invited to, right? And I went over there and I was listening. There was a doctor up there, right? And she was talking about the disease of alcoholism, right? Because it's not the way she explained it. Because I even asked her, is like, do doctors even really, like, honestly, do y'all really see this alcoholism as a disease, right? And she said two things. She said, at first, it's not. Right? When I was first drinking, I was having just fun. It was all good. It wasn't a disease yet. But the more that I drank, I crossed over the line. The imaginary line, they said. I went over the line. And I went from being a cucumber to being a pickle. And once you're a pickle, you cannot be a cucumber anymore. So once I crossed that line, and then it becomes a disease. And the same thing happens with diabetics, right? You can make yourself a diabetic, folks. If you think that you don't have no family and you're diabetic, so you might not be a diabetic, please let me tell you, you can make it. You can be the first one in your bloodline to be a diabetic. How can you do that? Because you eat too much sugar, right? So if you eat too much sugar and you become diabetic, if you catch it, there's a chance that you can undiabetic yourself. But if there are some of us who can't stop, even when they tell us, so we go extreme, right? We say, I'm not that bad. I only eat this much sugar. I'll be okay. I'm not that bad. I can get it under control later on if it gets worse. And then we get to that point where it gets worse, and we can't go back because now we're addicted to the substance. We're addicted to the sugar. We can't give it up, right? Well, the same thing happens to alcoholics and drug addicts and stuff like that. And drug addicts are a little bit different because of the chemicals, right? And where it hits. And I'm not a doctor, so I won't go into that. But what I know about alcoholism is that once you pass that imaginary line, it's hard to come back. Most of us don't. But there's a solution, so thank God, right? Woo! There's a solution. So don't worry. If you pass the line, you're alcoholic, that's okay. We can live normal lives. Okay, we can. It's a possibility. So she was saying that they don't really recognize it as, if you drink too much, it's not a disease. But once you cross over the line, then it becomes a disease, right? But what she also said is that people of my type, like alcoholics, they're the only ones that get addicted to the pain that living an alcoholic life, an active alcoholic's life brings, right? That we're addicted to the pain, that we get addicted to the suffering, that we get addicted to the chaos, that we get addicted to the toxicity, right? And that a diabetic doesn't get addicted to the chemo. They don't get addicted Cancer patients don't get addicted to the radiation. Diabetics don't get addicted to that therapy. I don't know if it's called chemo. It's that other stuff where they flush their body out, right? They get addicted. They don't get addicted to that. Alcoholics are the only ones that get addicted to the pain. Well, unfortunately, so do hoarders. They get addicted to the pain. So do love addicts. They get addicted to the pain, right? They get addicted to the pain that unhealthy ways of treating those symptoms makes them feel. So why did I say all that? I guess I can't remember. Oops. I can't remember where I was going with that, but I wanted to relate it to the hoarder story, to the pain that it gives me to put this stuff on paper, to unclutter my mind, to unclutter my heart, to unclutter my soul, to unclutter my spirit, to unclutter my body, to unclutter my ears, to unclutter my nose, to unclutter my mouth, right? The stuff that I say, I don't have to say a lot anymore. I mean, I get on these videos and I make them kind of long accidentally. But out there in life, I realize I don't have to say a lot, and that what I say, I can say it with power and love. That I don't have to cuss at nobody. I don't have to, talk smack about nobody. I mean, I could just watch and see, let me see the situation. Let me get my feelings out of it, and then let me share it, right? So all of that came about me getting rid of all that anger, all the resentment, all the hate, all that stuff that I had within me, right? All the self-righteousness, all the jealousy. All that I had within me, I had to get rid of it. But how do I do that? Well, folks, I gave myself completely to this program, right? And I got to step 8 and I made a list. Am I trying to convince you? No, I'm trying to be a testimony. I'm being a testimony to this program that really, really works. And I'm sharing with you what happened to me as a result of doing these steps. And what happened to me is that I have a freedom, that I have a life today that I get to live, that I don't survive it, I live it. Do I have hard moments? Heck yeah. But you know what? Because I don't have all the stuff in my mind, certain things bugging me anymore. I can look at my situation and see it from a whole different angle. And before I could only see it one way, because I only had in all this, just like a hoarder's house. You walk in there, they have a little path, right? They might have a little path to the restroom, they might have a little path to their bed, and their bed might be full of stuff. They might just have one little corner where they sleep. Well, I used to be like that in my head. I used to have just one little path, and I couldn't see nowhere else besides that. Well, once I started to clear that little path, it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Now I have this head that's clear-minded today. Is there stuff in there still? Yes, of course. Of course, there'll always be stuff there. But not this. Some of it might be the same stuff. I don't know. But it's not like it's so much easier to clean now. You know, if you leave a dirty dish in your sink, or maybe you forgot to pick up your socks yesterday, man, it's easy to pick them back up and throw them and wash your dishes and have a nice clean kitchen, right? It's more manageable today. Life is manageable today. Situations are manageable today. My dreams and goals and aspirations are more manageable today. Writing the list is manageable. And now I can walk up to my sponsor with the list with 2 people on it. Now I can do that. Why? Because I've already shown up with the list of 20 people. I've already shown up with the list of 10 financial institutions. I've already shown up with the list of 15 fears that I know of. I've already shown up with the list of like 30 or 40 character defects, right? It wasn't easy, folks, but it was worth it. It was well worth it. It's so worth it. But I can't. I'll end with this. Okay, I want to tell you one more story, and then for real, I'll end. So one time I was on a prayer call with my pastor, right? And for those of you who do know her or don't know her, my pastor's name is Real Talk Kim. You could Google her, you could look her up, and everything you want to know about her is on realtalkkim.com. So her name is Real Talk Kim, and she does these prayer calls on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, right? Well, on Tuesday, on one of those Tuesdays, she was like letting, like, just telling us, like, helping us, right, get unstuck. And that was like one of her best, I think, prayer talks that I ever was able to listen to, right? And it was talking about getting out of toxic relationships, about dealing with narcissists, right? And and so people were sharing, and she's like, oh, yes, God hates divorce, but He does not want you to be with the narcissist, So anyway, so if you go to her, you'll hear stuff like that. So anyway, so it was time to end. She prayed for everybody, and she was already saying bye, and then on one comment, she read one of the comments right after she prayed for us. She was about to log off, and she read a comment, and the comment said, I have an abusive husband, and I can't get out. What do I do? And she read that, and she started crying. She started crying, and she says, have you not been listening to what I've been saying for the last 45 minutes? Has anything that I said, have you heard that? Does it mean anything? I mean, like, she was literally crying. She's like, I'm here trying to help you. She said, but I can't do it for you. And folks, I want to say that to you today. I know it's hard. I know it feels impossible. I know it feels hopeless sometimes. This program works, but I can't do it for you. I can't. I hope that you would take some suggestions from me or from somebody in your life that might be in recovery or might belong to a church or have a badass pastor like I do. I hope that you will one day open your mind to a solution that works. I hope that someday, if your life is not going the way that you want it to go right now, I hope that someday you would try something different. I hope that someday you will care enough about yourself to put in the effort to live the kind of life that you've always dreamed of living. You can do it, folks. I know you can. I used to be there too. I used to think I could never do it. I used to think that what I want I can't have. You know that where I live right now, I'm about to move, and you know that I've been dreaming about this apartment for years. And then my next apartment that I'm dreaming about that right now. It will come to pass, folks. But I have to put the effort. I have to do the step work. I have to be willing. I have to make a list. Folks, I love you. Thank you. If I was a little bit intolerable today, you're still watching this at 23 minutes and 27 seconds. I just want to say thank you. I know your time is valuable. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.